Any belief system that stemmed from the Torah, that includes Islam and Christianity as well, is not worshiping God. Y'all are worshiping aliens. The Old Testament in the Bible is telling you about the relationship between extraterrestrials and people. And the New Testament is telling you about the relationship between people and hybrid extraterrestrials. And before y'all call me crazy, I've already accepted being crazy. I would rather be crazy than be a religious dumbass. And people are always saying, Derek, why the volume? Why the profanity? I have to speak like this to get your attention. If I said, guys, you have to wake up, nobody would pay attention to me. Do you think Jesus was soft-spoken? The dude was screaming to the top of his lungs, hollering in the streets. The image of Jesus is some type of soft-spoken, feminine Bob Marley. He was nothing like that at all. There was no God figure that just snapped his fingers and everything just popped up into existence. Things don't work like that. Why do you think humans have ape DNA flowing through our veins? Why do we have ape DNA if we were created by God? Why is there animal genetics inside of us? Why would God need to gene splice different creatures to make humans? Couldn't he just think us into existence if he was all powerful? But y'all don't have these type of thoughts because y'all don't think. Humans have been regressed to our instincts, ruled by fear. We don't even use our intellects anymore. Even though our intellect isn't even the highest aspect of awareness. It's really your intuition. But we're not talking about that yet because y'all don't even use your intellect anymore. Y'all just use your instincts, governed by emotions and fear alone. God is a group of beings called the Anunnaki. And the Bible gave you guys little subtle hints about it. Why do you think the Bible said, let us make man? This means that God is not one being. And it wasn't God and Jesus sitting in space that said, let us make man. No. It was the Anu people, the Anunnaki, those sent from Anu to Ki. All the stories in the Old Testament in the Bible were not original. All of them are copy and pasted stories from the Sumerian tablets, which are the oldest stories of humanity in the world. Why do you think the Bible is so similar to the Sumerian tablets? It's plagiarism. The original story goes that these extraterrestrials came to Earth where there was already creatures living and thriving on the planet already evolving by themselves. And they found a creature called the Homo habilis. They brought it on a planet called Mars, where and they named Mars actually, by the way. They called it Lamu. They established a lab called the Shimti lab, which means where the breath of life was breathed in. And in the Shimti lab, they developed the evolution of the Homo erectus, the Homo habilis into a Homo erectus. Then they took the Homo erectus female, they took an egg out of her, and they mixed it with Anunnaki sperm. And once the egg was fertilized, they took it and put it in an Anunnaki woman, and she was a surrogate mother for the very first Homo sapien in existence. And this was the process that they used to create Homo sapiens. And so they were tired of being surrogate mothers for these Homo sapiens, so they gave us the ability to reproduce, because the very first Homo sapien was a hermaphrodite. And so once they made us hybrids, they created females and males, and then we were able to reproduce by ourselves. And once there was a big enough population of humans, they used us as slaves, because when they originally came to Earth to extract resources from the planet, but their technology wasn't working, so they just used earthly creatures to work for them and get the resources for themselves, and they used us as slaves. When our work was done, they left a few human beings in charge and never came back ever again. And a few Anunnaki would come back to teach humanity about existence. Most of the Anunnaki don't give a fuck about us. They view us as dumbass animals. And a few would come back every once in a while to check up on us and teach us. And we worshipped all the Anunnaki that would teach us shit. And they loved being worshipped. It fed their egos. One of the most famous Anunnaki that loved being worshipped the most was Enlil. And one of his titles was Yahweh. All of y'all love praying to Yahweh. And Yahweh laughs at y'all hysterically. Y'all worship this man. He doesn't give a fuck about you. He doesn't hear your prayers or anything. And I'm not here to give you the whole story of the Sumerian tablets. You can go read it for yourself. That's not my message here. What I'm here to tell you is none of these religious books are teaching you anything about God. It has nothing to do with God whatsoever. The true and living God exists inside of yourself, but it's hidden inside of you. This is called the Amen. Amen means the hidden one. Amen is your soul. You will never understand God until you learn about yourself. You can only study God by studying yourself and going within. And all these Anunnaki that didn't view us as lowly animals that came to teach us, they were trying to teach us about this type of stuff. One of them was Thoth. One of them was Jesus. And Jesus' real name is not Yeshua. That was just one of his avatars. He's been incarnating on this planet for thousands of years. And his real name is Sananda. Sananda is an Anunnaki. He came here in the avatar of Tammuz. He came here as Haru in ancient Egypt. He also came here as Jesus as well. He's came here in many different other avatars as well. But he was not some god. Y'all are worshiping this man. Jesus never asked to be worshipped. You can't find one time in the Bible where he tells you to worship him. And he didn't want to teach you guys too much because the belief system of humanity was too dumb and too fragile. So he had to give you guys little baby steps. Jesus' true father was not God. Jesus' real father was Gabriel. The Anunnaki have been making babies with humans for thousands of years. They love making babies with us. They tell you in the Old Testament right there. Jesus' father was Gabriel. The angel that visited Mary was Jesus' dad. It was not some God figure. Spirits can't get people pregnant. That was your immaculate conception right there. And what made Jesus so special was because he was a half human, half extraterrestrial. So he had compassion for humanity. One of his parents was a Homo sapien, Mary, and the other one of his parents was a full-blooded Anunnaki who was Gabriel, who was Geb, Ra, and El. All of these are 3 Egyptian deities, but Christians don't know that because they only know about their own religion. They haven't studied anything else outside of that. That's why he was so special and so intelligent, because he was half man, half Anunnaki. So he was caught between 2 worlds. So Jesus was a hybrid extraterrestrial teaching humans. And full-blooded Anunnaki that came here to teach humans, they don't like coming to Earth because humans just view them as gods. They see how bright their auric fields are and they just start bowing down and worshiping them. This is why Jesus had to be half human, so that y'all would view him as a person. If he came in his full Anunnaki state, people would just start getting on their knees and worshiping him. So he had to come in a more human-like state. That's why he had to have a human mother or one human parent. The true and living God exists within the seat of your soul, which can only be accessed through your heart center or your heart chakra. Once you can raise your mind to the vibration of your heart chakra, you will experience God, which will give you Christ consciousness, which is the awareness of the universe that Jesus had access to. No human on earth will have access to the knowledge that Jesus had because he was part Anunnaki. But there are humans like myself, many other humans like Malachi Zurich, and many other humans that have been able to reach this level of consciousness called Christ consciousness. Humans are limited because the Anunnaki nerfed our DNA. There's way more to it, and there's way more stuff that I have to say. But the moral of the story is, you will not know God until you open up your heart chakra. And it is not easy and takes a lot of work. But you will not ever experience God until you put in this work. And if you'd like to learn how to awaken your heart chakra, click the link in my profile bio and read my book, Awakening the Divine Mind.